Good evening, good afternoon, happy National Indigenous Peoples Day. We have a lot of good stuff that's going to happen today, and more notably, we got a special guest with us who's coming to Vancouver. He's a busy man, and we're lucky to have him. He reigns from the Statlium First Nations. He's been in the circle of giving us the pleasure of listening to his music for a decade. More than that, he's a Juno Award winner. He's still busy writing and singing and doing all this good stuff that Mr. Leach can do for us. And I know I lost my first CD, and boom, I had to get it right again. Like, boom, I need another one. But it's our pleasure to have George here with us today. And he's going to do some songs for you, and I'll turn it over to George, and here we go.
Okay, sweet, sweet, sweet.
Happy App Day, you!
Terrace has been such a beautiful and so fortunate to be a part of that experience in that territory, and just always felt welcome there. And it's definitely a place I sneak away to, and I don't tell anybody where I'm at. I purposely missed my plane rides a few times just so I could stick around there.
hang out there, yeah. And it was really nice for us in the community to have, you know, you stick around Terrace and visit people, get to know people.
Absolutely.
And Crab Fest was the first time a lot of people got to see a lot of your stuff.
King Colas!
Yes, King Colas, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That was a cool time.
Oh yeah.
But I have to recall the first time I saw you was when you came to Kitsilkalem
Yeah.
in Terrace.
Yeah.
And that was just after your CD.
Yeah, yeah.
That was a great CD.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
What kind of time did you put into that CD?
The first one?
Yeah.
You know, I think a lot of that came quite fast. If I remember quite correctly, like 6 of the songs just pretty much came out in one take, kind of thing. You know, lyrically, and it just kind of all fell together.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, I just went with my instincts. That's all I had. I didn't, you know, have any experience. It was just the first record. You know, there's a lot of innocence in it, a lot of just go-get-it energy, and I love that for that. And then the second one took a little bit longer to create, but definitely transformed and gathered more craftsmanship and crafted that one a lot more. And yeah.
Oh, cool, cool. 'Cause that was one of my favorite CDs. Of course, you did the Young Meth, the song
Yeah.
you just did, the video,
Yeah.
which was the hottest video that happened for a while. And to me, I turned it on and I played with it.
Yeah. Oh, right on, right on.
Yeah. But anyway, it's serious a pleasure. I'm going to ask you a question that one of our other fans have asked us, and they want to know, how has life changed since moving away from BC and then coming back?
Oh man, life. You know, moving to Toronto was a great experience for me. I was 18, working at a mill, and you know, my uncle's was one of the foremans there. And I got so excited, I was looking at somebody driving a forklift, and I said, oh wow, how long will it take me to get up the seniority list to drive that? And he was like, 20 years. I was like, 20 years? I gotta wait 20 years for that? And the best advice that he gave me, for only me personally, not, he just said, George, you know, I was 18, 20 bucks an hour, tax-free, on reserve mill. And he said, get out while you can before you get addicted to the money.
Yeah.
And so I really took that to heart what he said. He said, go out there and live your life. Go out there and have fun. Go out there and do different things, and don't get addicted to the money. So I did. 2 weeks later, I quit my job in the middle of December, drove across the country to Toronto through blizzards, didn't know anybody, didn't know anything. Lived in some person's attic that I just met, within the first day that I got there, and then I got hooked right into the theater scene.
Mm-hmm.
And the actors, and I got to see Derek Miller play acoustic. That's the only time I've seen him play acoustic.
That must have been amazing.
Yeah, and so I, from there, the one thing I loved about my Toronto experience, where it freed me as a First Nations man, it's the second or probably one of the most multicultural cities on the planet, where I could take a break from being First Nations, and not discarding it, but just meaning I was never treated like an Indian there.
Yeah.
And the racism, it was around, but it was never in my face as a Native man.
Yeah.
So therefore, I could just go to work
Yeah.
without that racism and without that kind of pressure on my shoulders as a young man trying to get out there and meet the world and greet the world. And a lot of my focus, I wasn't focused on what I wanted out of life.
Mm-hmm.
I was focused more on what life had to offer.
Right.
So I walked in Toronto with an open heart and an open mind, and just said, yeah, here I am, Creator, I'm yours to do what you will. And everything just lined up. It's fast track I got thrown right onto the stage as an actor for a lot of years. Didn't sing at that time, I was very shy, until somebody that told me that I couldn't sing. So in my head I gave him a finger, and then from that point on I focused on my vocals, and then the rest is history from there. So that was my Toronto experience, my Ontario. But then, through the success comes excess and access to excess. I got, wrapped up in the rock and roll, sex, drugs, and rock and roll life. It's not called sex, drugs, and rock and roll it's called that for a reason. So I got trapped up in some of the traps. I'm an alcoholic, and I got lost in that path for a lot of years. And then I just knew after a while I had to get home. I had to come home, and so that's what I did. Came back home and healed up and surrounded myself with family and friends, and I've been on the sober path for a while now. So
Yeah, this is great. This is great. It brings out the best in people around you, not just you, right?
yeah,
When you're able to walk on a good road.
yeah,
In our world, we call it the red road, but
yeah,
makes a huge difference.
yeah,
And I hear what you're saying about the not being seen as First Nations or the racism.
yeah,
And I was talking about it with my partner the other day in terms of when we go to sporting events, like Dudes Canuck then, right?
yeah,
And people treat you like people. They're nothing more or less.
exactly.
And no matter where
Yeah.
you go, go to concerts, go watch George Leach,
Yeah,
they're like, yeah, you get the leading Bronx. It's all the same
yeah,
until we leave, right?
yeah.
Then they go back into
Till the jerseys come off.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's so sad, but it tells me though there's a lot of good things to build on, and that's one of the things we can actually build on towards
Yeah.
a better life as people together, right? That's
And
my thought.
I feel like it's even especially with what's going on in the world, and what's going on in the States, and it's not just the States, it's everywhere. It's here in Canada, the racism. Racist? I thought that's a guy that liked to drive fast. No, but it's difficult and hard times right now. But I also see there's a real opportunity to work through that, and it's out now. It's out now. We have an opportunity to deal with it in a loving, peaceful manner.
Yeah, I agree.
And this is an opportunity. We're in that place where we just got to stay focused on looking after each other, on being good to ourselves, treating ourselves with good health, eating healthy, thinking healthy, and it starts with ourselves, and then we can get out and share that with others, and it's very contagious.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think personally, this is a real opportunity that we can create something that's more loving and more positive and more forward moving. Evolution could happen here.
Yeah, I agree. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a short little break again, and we'll be right back because he's going to need to tune in to his next tune. So we'll be back.
Standing here at the crossroads, watching you pull down the road, not knowing where I'm going to go. Baby, don't say, baby, please tell me it's gonna be alright. Oh, I wish I could cry, cry. Give you all the reasons why. don't say maybe, please tell me it's gonna be alright. Oh, how good me my kid's soul. Baby, don't say maybe, please tell me it's gonna be alright.
Thank you.
That was a sweet piece. And that Crossroads goes back for a lot of blues players, right? And a lot of history to that song
Yeah.
in terms of where it brings different people. Where does it bring you when you do that song?
It changes all the time. Actually, like all the songs, they don't mean the same to me as I wrote them because I'm in a different place. But for me, like a lot of times, especially with that song or with other songs, I'm usually praying or you know, for other things, like, you know, something that's going on in the States, you know, I'll be sending my thoughts and my prayers that way. But still singing this song and, you know, just in my own little, not all the time, but as much as I can, I'm always thinking about something else or trying to send positive energy if I see somebody that's hurting or see somebody that needs something out of them, you know, and I feel like as a musician, my goal is to create a safe place for you to go where you need to go emotionally. So, and the same thing goes for me, like, I'm not present most of the time on stage. You know, I go away and wander out there and I'm just along for the ride like everybody else. And so, you know, like for me it's, again, creating a safe place so that if you need something out of you, if you need to cry or you need to laugh or you need to celebrate yourself or you need whatever, that's what I'm trying to do as an artist, is to help you and feel safe to go there. You know, because like diseases that are created in our bodies and in our minds and our spirits is from dis-ease. If you're not at ease with yourself or you're not, and you're still holding on to a hurt, it's my job to go in there and make you cry it out and make you get it out,
Right.
so that you don't become sick from it physically, cancerous, stuff like that. So
And it can be.
yeah, well yeah, it's no joke, man. So that's where I go as much as I can and just to help people.
So, and I know a lot of, I mean, when you think about the song Crossroads, people were in different places when they wrote it, especially Robert, right? Robert
Yeah.
Johnson, who wrote the original, was in a different place. But in terms of obstacles, given the premise of that type of song, with the obstacles that you faced in your career, how has it shaped your music?
How is it, sorry?
How did the obstacles that you faced in your career and in your life shape your music?
Oh, how did it shape my music?
Yeah.
You know, a lot of it definitely is shaped by my experiences, you know, going through this life. And, you know, I just feel really grateful that I have a tool that can help me express myself, because otherwise I'd be dead in jail. You know, just the amount of energy that I had growing up. You know, my father, you know, knew, like my parents split when I was about 10 or 11, and my dad just knew I just had that rage in me, that anger. And, but right away he says, you need to go deal with that. So he hooked me up with karate. My karate instructor, Jim Maloney, who trained the first tribal police out of British Columbia ever, actually. And so I got connected into that martial arts. It's still an art, and I really, that was all my focus was into that, and saved my life. And but also still draw upon those tools with the guitar, the dexterity, the knowing where I'm at, spacing in a room, and knowing where things are at. And so, and the discipline that goes along with carrying yourself in a Wei Chi Ru way. So definitely that, and then the music also has helped me. It is my medicine, you know, that helps me go walk through this life and express myself. So I don't bottle up and become at disease. Not that I don't. I still got struggles and everything like everybody else. So I'm not just praying for others. I'm praying for myself as well to bring as much, you know, love and care and patience and tolerance as I can into this world. You know, I'm still a rookie, but I have fun trying, man.
Yeah. No,
It's called play guitar, not work guitar. So I'm just playing.
That's a great note for people, especially when I pick up the guitar.
Yeah.
And learn. The first time I saw you, I'm like, oh, I want to learn how to play like that guy.
Yeah.
And I took out a whole year just to figure it out, right?
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun with it, but last year, for Vancouver Folk Fest,
Oh yeah.
I went down to volunteer. And I'm like, George is gonna be here. So I was like, for the whole week I was working in one of the tents, telling people, make sure you go over see George. And
Nice. Thank you.
that was a great piece that you did there. And I can't remember the name of it, but you were all over the place on that. Anyway, that was a really good night of music. That.
Oh yeah, it was a blast. Yeah. I mean, the thing with the Vancouver Folk Festival is I don't think they take applications. You only get there by being invited.
Yeah.
So 20 years later, I earned my invite, which was great.
Yeah, it was.
So
cool.
thank you, Vancouver Folk Festival.
Yeah.
Woo! I got that on my resume.
Right. All right. So we're gonna be back for a couple more songs, and so hang tight.
Thank you for all the Ain't no one to help me find my way. Ain't no one gonna let me go astray.
moment that you get in a zone, right?
Oh, yeah.
And one of the things about blues is when that zone happens all the time, when you're like,
I'm just on for the
just,
ride,
that
too.
just doesn't stop.
Yeah,
Right?
you just gotta ride the lightning, man.
Yeah, yeah.
You never know what's gonna hit.
So, in terms of your music, we've heard it, we see the videos, and there's a lot that we would wonder about how it affects people, how you affect people. So how does music reflect who you are, and your family upbringing? How does it speak to the land you're tied to?
Mm.
Yeah.
How does the music reflect who I am? I kind of look at it as I'm just a goofball that knows a few chords, and I'm like a hunter or a fisherman. I'm trying to stay quiet so that I can catch a song. And what I mean by being quiet is keeping that self, that inner child, that sense of wonder alive, that sense of play. And for me, I get a lot of the influence just from playing. A lot of these songs are just from playing and going away, joining the universe and playing there. And instead of putting so much pressure and structure onto it right away, it's like, could you imagine trying to tell a child how they're supposed to play? No, play like this, do that. No, not like that, like this. And that's where that ego kicks in. So for me, the music frees me of my ego. And like I said, I'm just along for the ride. Like when you get taken away like that, I'm getting taken away. I'm like sitting there as an audience member going, yeah, man, keep going. And so, I just think, like artists in general are like the modern day warriors, where you go to places that people might not know how to get there emotionally or whatnot. So it's our job to go into those dark places and learn and gather that knowledge or collect that song and come back and feed the people. So, and it's tough. A lot of artists, you can go to some dark places and you don't ever come out. Some of them lose their lives that way because it's too heavy or there's too much that's going on. So, for me, you just clean yourself, you warrior up, and you go. You be quiet and playful and keep your wits about you. So I don't think I write the songs. I think the songs are already written, and I'm just the fisherman that feels fortunate enough to catch that fish to feed the people. And even when that fish is caught, like even if I caught it or penned it or put it on the guitar, that song, once I'm done crafting it, it's not mine anymore. It belongs to the people. And so it's always kind of that energy where you're going in and you're just doing the universe's work or the creator's work or whatever it is that you want to call it. It's not about me, it's about, us.
Yeah.
It's about us and creating a moment and sharing a moment, because, if I sing about a red bike, the red bike might be something in my head, but it might be something different in everybody else's head, or whatever story goes along with the song. That's their personal story, their personal journey. So they're co-writing what that song means to them. So we're co-writers, for a moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, different energies coming together for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying. Okay, we're going to come right back again and do one more song for you, and then. Yes, this is so cool, isn't it?
I'm having fun. And dedicated to the murdered and missing women and girls.
Holding on when I should let go. Set modes on our radio. Strip away the things you said, yeah. Let me watch you do. Scared to walk alone, and I feel far home. If I fall, will he carry me, carry me, carry me? Am I sinking in the sea? What I've come to be. If I drown, will he carry me, carry me, carry me? Carry me home, carry me home. I'm too scared to walk alone, and I feel far home. If I fall, will he carry me, carry me home? Am I sinking in the sea? What I've come to be. If I drown, will he carry me, carry me home? Carry me home. Carry me home, yeah,
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
So, that was deep. That was great.
That's a co-write with a good buddy of mine, Togs, Sony ATV guy. We wrote that in about 18 hours, and but the full band version, there's a lead riff that opens it up, and that riff came in a dream like years before that song was written,
Right.
and didn't really do anything with it until him and I hooked up, and I showed him that riff, and boom, 18 hours later, Carry Me was born.
Yeah, that's a sweet tune.
You.
So there's, of course, you got fans, right?
Yeah, that's
Fans
awesome.
got lots of questions.
Nice.
So
I don't know where I'm looking.
that's right. So when you think about how you've perused your craft, how you've in your career you've really done a lot of amazing things with the guitar, and especially the other one with the double.
The double neck, yeah.
The double neck is just an amazing piece of guitar to play.
Thank you.
I couldn't imagine trying to get my arms around the, like it's like this wide, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And, so, who were the people in your life that you give most credit to, and especially those who believed in you?
Oh, definitely my parents. Started off, you know, definitely a lot of credit goes to my parents. Well, first of all, the good creator. You know, my spiritual walk was very magical at a young age. But my parents were the ones that encouraged me growing up. You know, they said, "I love you," and I believed them. And they also said, you know, you can do anything you want in life as long as you love doing what you're doing, and we're always going to love you. So they never tried to tell me who to be or what to be. And they gave me that confidence and that freedom to just feel like, yeah, I'm loved. So definitely starts with my mother and father. My father was a chief for about 33 years, and I was being raised to be a chief. And I saw the grief he went through. I was like, no way, man. So I took music up instead. But, and then from there, just there was a lot of people that helped me out through my life, through a lot of difficult times. So many, I can't remember. Because none of us get to anywhere we are by ourselves, It's everything in life or in business. It's a people business. It's a people life and sharing with each other. Or little gifts that sometimes we just need to hear something to keep going. Because this is a hard life. It's fun at first, but it can be a mean, hard road and a bag of dirty clothes.
Yeah.
And it's very lonely being on the road a lot. That's what people, you meet a lot of people, but technically I'm kind of a tourist in people's lives.
Yeah.
And so it does take a lot of energy to stay sane a little bit. Like I said, I went down my dark roads and dark paths and made it out of there unscathed, through a lot of help and a lot of, humility and just getting humbled, which is definitely, approaching music with humility and humbleness is when the songs tend to come. And because you're here, you're not in your ego. And of course I dabble there. I got my ego every day that I try to shrink up, but it's just one day at a time, and that's all I can do.
So I know musicians when they move along in their journey, they run into. I know I'm classically trained. I learned brass stuff right as a kid, and so when I grew up, Louis Armstrong, because I played trumpet, right? And,
Yeah.
But I know for yourself, there you must have some heroes that you followed. Who are those?
My musical heroes. Well, I guess I'll just talk a little bit. I'll name off some. Definitely John Lee Hooker, ZZ Top, B.B. King, Smashing Pumpkins, Billy Corgan's from Smashing Pumpkins, Ian Thornley from Big Wreck, CCR, Creedence Clearwater Revival is a huge influence on me growing up. So I do the best to mimic him and John Lee Hooker as I can. But when I very first picked up the guitar, I made a commitment right away. I said, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to find who I am. I'm going to express who I am, and I'm going to focus on that journey rather than going out there like this and looking to others. Definitely get a little bit of influence, but I didn't hang out there. I got a little bit of inspiration, turn around, and then the journey's in. And then I went in and made it mine. Just took the influence and went back in. Because I found, growing up, like some of the guitarists that I was looking up to and stuff like that, I would ask them, they would play Jimi Hendrix and Stevie Ray Vaughan and all that kind of stuff, and I said, well, that's cool, but who are you? Do you have a song that you've written? I'd love to hear who you are. And a lot of them didn't have that. Or focus on that. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying, but for me, what I wanted out of my journey was to be heard as who I am. Because in truth, nobody can be better than Jimi Hendrix. Nobody can be better than Stevie Ray Vaughan than Stevie Ray Vaughan. But at the same time, nobody can be George Leach better than George Leach. Nobody could be you better than you, and so on and so forth. So that's the mindset that I had before I even knew a chord.
That's pretty cool. I have a gift for you. This is a feather that in my circles I did a lot of work on floors with different people, different events, and Res School more notably was one of them in terms of all the good work that we do with people. So I want to gift you personally from me and my family this feather.
Thank you.
There you go.
Oh man.
Yes, and thank you very much for answering our call to come out. It makes all of our days special, and a lot of BC is going to get to see this. And so,
Yeah.
And do you have any words you want to share with the people? And
Wow, this is so crazy. I had no idea. Thank you very much, my friend. I really appreciate this, and accept it with humility and gratitude. Just say a special prayer. Thank the good Creator for this good day, for my good mind, my good body, my good spirit. Thank you for all the animals and all the little bugs and all the two-leggeds and four-leggeds, all the animals in the air, all the animals in the water, for the land that we walk on, for the air that we breathe, for the rain that comes and nourishes our mother to help us in this life. Thank you to my mom and my dad for being my parents and my family, my friends. Thank you all to my fans for being there for me. I have a really dedicated fan base, and definitely bless you all with love. Say a special prayer for anyone that's going through a hard time, to reach out and to make sure that we look after each other through these hard times, and we can do this together, and just to slow down, take time for the simple things, and to pray for each other, pray for ourselves, clean ourselves, so that we can pray for others, and pray for all the animals that are suffering. And so definitely help each other out and be there for each other, and just to celebrate each other's love and our goodness, all those good things, patience, tolerance, compassion, all these, humility, and the ways of the good Creator. And with that, this is Carry Me